Okay, so I think that probably the greatest thing that God has taught me about in worship over the last few years is just really about the heart of thanksgiving, and just the power that that has in our own personal lives, in our walk with God, and in the kingdom. Of all of the weapons that God has given us to fight a war that's not against flesh and blood, that has its source and its outcome in the spirit realm. You know, He's given us the Word, and He's given us prayer, and He's given us fasting, and He's given us, you know, words of prophecy and all these things. But worship really holds a power that I personally think that nothing else can touch. When you put your heart before the living God and you open yourself in a place of praise and thanksgiving, it not only breaks things in the spirit realm around you, it also breaks things in the soul realm inside you. And I think that that's where the difference lies. Like, you know, when I'm in a place of discouragement, or I'm in a place of offense with God or with people, or when I'm feeling, you know, ashamed or overwhelmed by circumstances, the place of thanksgiving, of worshiping God, can break that in an instant. You can't keep your heart in a place of offense. You can't keep your heart in a place of discouragement when you truly worship. So if you can get past the form of worshiping, you know, standing, whether it's on a stage in front of an audience or whether that's, you know, like in your room, like singing songs, if you can get past just the words and truly open your heart to worship, it always breaks those things. When we were in Kentucky, we spent a couple of years, myself and a couple of others, doing like a worship internship, basically, where we were asked to lead worship every night for, it ended up being like almost a year and a half. And, you know, at the beginning, we really didn't think that we could do that. You know, we had done it for 3 weeks in a row or whatever. We were exhausted, and we thought that this was the end of our strength, and we really couldn't do it anymore. But we found that when we made the conscious decision to continue worshiping and to push past that, it was so painful on the flesh, but we could rely on God's strength, and that it made all the difference. You know, like we could go, and there were days, well, okay, honestly, most days when we just really didn't feel like worshiping, when we were frustrated by, you know, by work, by people, by circumstances, and you come in just not really wanting to go into the presence of God, and we would circle up, and we would, because we knew that we had to get our hearts right before God before we could lead a congregation into worship. You know, we had to. And so we would stand in a circle, and we would stay there, and we would pray, and we would worship, and we would sing until our own hearts agreed with the words that we were saying. And sometimes it would take yelling and shouting and whatever it took, it was worth it, you know? Because in the end, we would always come out of that place in a place of victory. And then we were able to lead the congregation. And at that time, what we were really, the scripture that we were studying and the verses that we used to build our souls and our spirits up in God was, we would say over and over again, bless the Lord, O my soul. Psalm 103, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all His benefits. And we would begin to speak of His benefits. We would have times of just thanksgiving. God, you know, thank you for who you are. God, thank you for the way you're working. And even thanking Him for the things that we didn't see yet, and for the circumstances that we didn't understand or that hurt our flesh, and thanking Him for the growth that came through those things. And it was that place of thanksgiving in our weakness that was the strength to do whatever we needed. And I think that it's just so vital that we don't listen to our emotions anymore, but we listen to the truth of what God's given us, and we choose to act on that truth, choose to give thanks, whether we feel like it or not, and truly from a heart that's full of gratitude and understanding exactly what the cross was and what Jesus has given us. I think that's the most important thing in the world.